Welcome to Amstelveen for Everybody, an English-speaking program for the larger international community of Amstelveen. Did you know that about 20% of the Amstelveen inhabitants are of an international passport holders? Amstelveen for Everybody is, of course, for the international community, but also for the local Dutch community. It's how we bring people together. We will be airing 8 episodes over the coming months, and we'll be touching on different topics, right, from education, healthcare, integration, and bringing people together. The first episode for this is about communication, because it all starts there. And on table with me, for the first time, we have the Mayor of Amstelveen, Mayor Tjapko Poppens, and we have our guest, Curtiz Koenig. Thank you both so much for joining us. So, Mayor, we're really happy that you're here. What is it like being the mayor of such an international city as Amstelveen?
Thank you for offering me the opportunity to be here. And of course, that's one of the most attractive parts of being the mayor of Amstelveen. Because the diversity of different nationalities, but also the different backgrounds and the cultures you see back in the restaurants, in the shops, in all kind of food we have also, but also in the colors on the streets. And I think also because of the employability, we need a lot of work, of course, for people to live. And also, I think Amstelveen is also, like Amsterdam, a very attractive environment to live and work due to the airport we have, but also the many international businesses we have. So it's a privilege to be here, mayor.
Well, you deal with a lot of cultures. Do you find that your role changes when you're dealing with different cultures?
Yes, it is. 21% of the Amstelveeners has a different nationality, and 79 is a Dutch nationality. Right. And I'm a mayor of all the Amstelveeners, as we call it. And it's important with a growing group of internationals to understand the culture and the background of the newcomers, the new Amstelveeners. But at the same time, we also have a lot of Dutch traditions, right, and of course the way of how we work and we do in Amstelveen. And I think it's very important, also as a mayor, but for everybody who lives in Amstelveen and works in Amstelveen, is to understand the other cultures and the backgrounds and to bridge the gaps between each other. And one of my important roles, I think, but also the people who are watching this program. And thank you for the opportunity to choose this important subject.
No, thank you so much for being here. So I think as a mayor, you have the advantage of experiencing different cultures. Amstelveen is also known for the different events that we host on a cultural level. And you attended the Japan Festival in the summer, so let's take a look what that looked like.
Japan is toch een van de grote bevolkingsgroepen in Amstelveen. We hebben heel veel Japanse inwoners. En de relaties tussen Amstelveen, Amsterdamse regio zijn ook heel goed met Japan. En ik vind het heel mooi dat we weer een festival hebben hier. Het is weer leuk om zoveel mensen bij elkaar te zien. Ook vanuit allerlei achtergronden. Niet alleen Nederlanders, Japanse Amstelveeners, maar ook een hele hoop anderen hier zijn gekomen. Leuke sfeer. Nou ja, je hoort het op de achtergrond, tromgeroffel. Een hele hoop Japanse krijgstunten. En heel veel stalletjes ook hieromheen. Met een Japanse keuken die zeer goed is.
Wow, so that was in the summer. We saw you there, of course. Now that you're here on table, what was that like, being with so many different, well, the Japanese culture, but in general, so many different cultures?
So many different cultures in that Japan festival, but also the atmosphere. There were so people enjoying being there together, mm-hmm, but also a lot of people with other nationalities than the Japanese. And of course, not only the food, which is wonderful, the Japanese kitchen, but also enjoying the culture, the sake, of course, but also the music with the drums.
Yep.
And that part, the Japan Festival, I like it very much. It was new for me when I arrived in Amstelveen 3 years ago. But we have also other festivals, like the Diwali Festival, with India Festival. And we have, of course, also King's Day here in the Netherlands, which is also very famous. And this year I had the opportunity for the first time to have a normal King's Day, if you like. And it was so important that I saw a lot of different cultures, Amstelveeners with different nationalities, who enjoyed so much King's Day. And I see the combination of those festivals, restaurants, shops, but also those festivals is very important to know each other, to meet each other, and also to understand each other. For example, we have, beside the people with a Dutch nationality, we have about 5,000 people from India here in Amstelveen. So I started to learn about the background and the culture. I read a book about former ambassador Fons Stoelinga.
Yep.
And it was so interesting to learn about the backgrounds and the cultures that it's important for me because those 5,000 India Amstelveeners are also part of what I am a mayor of. And I can advise everybody to learn also about the different cultures. At the same time, I also invite people who come here. Half of the internationals stay here for 5 or more years. And especially that group, I invite them to learn about the Dutch culture, to learn the Dutch language, and to get used to the typical Dutch issues.
Absolutely. Well, this is actually a good point that you're making. So on January 1st, 2022, Amstelveen had about 92,000 inhabitants with about 139 different nationalities. The largest, like you mentioned, comes from India, about 4,700. We see that the Japanese and the Chinese community is also significantly large in Amstelveen. And Amstelveen has just under 500 inhabitants from the United States, including our guest over here, Curtiz Koenig. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You moved here about 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
First question I need to ask you is, did you also enjoy the King's Day Festival?
I loved King's Day. It was nice to see that for the first time. My family and I all got our orange on and roamed around town and had a good time just enjoying the festivals and what was happening.
Brilliant. And why is it that you moved to Amstelveen?
The short answer is work. My wife and I were thinking about living in Europe already, and I got a call from a recruiter one day and said, have you ever thought about living in the Netherlands? And my response was, I don't speak Dutch. And his response was, you're lucky, most of us speak English. Right. I said, okay, let's give this a shot. And the company moved me over, and we began looking for a place to live, and Amstelveen became the natural choice for work and school and other various reasons.
And so now, that was 2 years ago. What was your first, let's say, reaction when you just moved here and you just landed? What was your experience like?
So my first experience actually wasn't in Amstelveen. It was in Zout, where I had temporary housing. Unfortunately, I moved into my house that we were renting here in Amstelveen, and we literally went into Corona lockdown a day later. So it was sort of navigating my way around under Corona and navigating my way around under an entirely new culture, figuring out where to shop. I spent a lot of time in the grocery store with Google Translate, trying to figure out what certain products were to buy things to make food, and trying to be as pleasant as I could with locals who speak a language I didn't quite understand yet.
And how is your contact now with local Amstelveeners 2.5 years later?
Most of my contact is actually with other expats, and I'm really hoping I can find a way to make contact with more Dutch nationals. I really want to understand the Dutch culture. I'm trying to learn the Dutch language as best I can, and understand sort of the traditions and what makes the Netherlands this sort of very unique country that I've come to experience and really enjoy.
And what blocks you from making contact with local Amstelveeners?
Well, the hardest part has been the last 2 years being under Corona, not having the ability to meet them. The other one is that I honestly don't know where to go most of the time to meet other Dutchies. Right. I know when the big holidays are, like King's Day, but other than that, I don't. I've recently taken up cycling, actually, and I'm kind of looking for a group to cycle around with, to see the countryside, to learn more about what's around me, and to try to speak some more Dutch.
Well, I mean, that's always really helpful. How are your Dutch skills?
I would say I'm probably as good as about a 4-year-old.
Okay.
I'm using an app on my phone, Duolingo. I do it for about an hour a day. I'm lucky that I have some background in German, which is some similarities, but still, it's difficult to learn on your own. What little my daughters bring home from school with them, my wife who's studying linguistics at the University of Amsterdam, what she brings home with her. But it's, I spend most of my day speaking English because I work in an international company and that's the one common language.
Right. Okay.
Are you also a member of a sport club or some kind of association?
I would like to be. We're not yet. Again, Corona has sort of prevented some of that. My daughter has recently said she wants to start gymnastics, so we've just found an Amstelveen local gymnastics group. I myself, like I said, have just started cycling. I'd love to get into that. And I would really just, enjoy getting to meet other Dutch people in sort of a natural setting, like if they had a poker night or if they had, hey, we're going to meet at a museum or we're just going to sit down and have lunch once a week and talk, just to have someone to try and talk to in Dutch and learn more about your culture.
So that's also an advice to the people who watch this program, I think, is not always start speaking English because there are Amstelveen internationals who want to learn Dutch. So we should give you also the opportunity to learn Dutch, I think. What I hear a lot from internationals who are here for a longer time is that afterwards they would have liked to learn on an earlier stage Dutch.
Correct.
Or wanted to join a club or join volunteering work. In not all cultures in the world, it's normal that you have a lot of volunteering activities. We do have in the Netherlands. And one of the issues we try to improve also as a municipality of Amstelveen is to advise earlier to people who come from abroad here for a longer time the opportunities here in the Netherlands. To feel yourself at home here in Amstelveen, but the other way around, what you can do yourself to get know the Dutch culture and the backgrounds and the volunteering work and all that kind of things.
Curtiz, what the mayor is saying, of course, it's about the municipality playing a role in helping you settle and have a smooth landing. What was that experience like for you? I understand it was COVID, but let we put that maybe aside, if it's possible, reflecting back on your experience when it came to that.
The first contact I had with the municipality was obviously registering to live here. And that was really easy. It was online. I could translate it pretty easily using apps and whatnot. Other than that, the only other contact I had with the municipality was the process of going through and getting my driver's license. That was actually the first time I ever stepped foot inside the gemeente. And then, of course, I get the dreaded blue envelope my first year here and trying to figure out what that said in Dutch and learning.
The national government.
Yeah, okay, there's money here. I understand that. Trying to figure it all out. And then working our way through, getting doctors and sort of the normal stuff.
And how did you know that you had to register with the municipality?
Work told me that. As soon as when you leave your corporate housing, you have to change your registration. And, hey, you're leaving Amsterdam and wherever you're going, you have to register there.
Right. So when we're talking about a smooth landing, people do face struggles. Some people are more independent in finding that information. Others are completely left in the wild. They don't have anyone to hold their hand and take them through this process. So what we recently learned is that in the municipality of Amstelveen, an organization which has been around for a long time but now has newly set up in the municipality is Access. And they help internationals, give them a smooth landing and give them the information that is needed. It is an independent body from the municipality. And they've been around functioning for quite some time, especially in Amsterdam and in other cities such as Utrecht. And now for the first time since November, I believe, in Amstelveen. We did go there just to interview them and see what they're up to. So let's see what Access has to say.
Good morning. Welcome to Access Help Desk. How can we help you?
Good morning. Yes, please. I just moved here from Egypt 2 days ago, and I would like to know how to register in the municipality.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome to Netherlands, first of all.
Access is a non-profit volunteer organization where we are providing all the important information to the expat community in settling down in the Netherlands. So, for example, we have expats coming to us, that how do they get registered themselves with the house arts? Or do they need a prescription from the house arts, to get the paracetamol? So everything which is related to day-to-day life, that's where expat comes in.
My name is Komal from Access Amstelveen. and we are here to do some survey that how the Ukrainian people are settling in Amstelveen.
And why is access so important?
Because I think access is like, for me, I feel that it's a binding factor between the expat and the real life in the Netherlands. When I came here 20 years back, I didn't know about expat. So there were so many things I was unaware of. And today what we are doing is, when you're new in the Netherlands, then we give them the right information.
So I was going through some challenges to settle in the Netherlands, like new country, new language, and I found access, and I just came to know that they give all sort of information to the expats.
Access is one of the only organizations which has its services in English. So when you Google for voluntary services in English, Access is the first thing that comes, and I found it really, something close to my heart because it's helping expats like us.
So I came to Access and I found out that you can do if you are living in Netherlands up to 2 years, you are entitled to have the free Dutch lessons. So I got that information through Access, and we are now giving it to other expats. So it's really essential to learn the local language to be able to meet new people and mingle with local people. So I think it's very helpful information. Ik ken spreek Nederlands beetje.
Because I believe that you really need to know the local language to integrate with the people. And the people here are so lovely. I just want to be able to enjoy with them, enjoy the culture here. And you need to know the language for that.
Yeah, because it helps you to make right choices in life.
If you have questions or if you would like to get in touch with Access, send them an email, helpdesk@access-nl.org. Curtiz, Access wasn't around when you landed. Would that have helped you, do you think? Do you think it would have made a big difference?
I think it would have made a big difference. There's two pieces of it for me. One is that there are people who are going through the same experience that I'm going through or have been through and can share that with me. And the second is having some guidance on where I can go to learn more about the Dutch culture and experience that culture that I'm very interested in.
Do you have any other advices to the municipality of Amstelveen to add to the good initiative of the Access?
I think if I had I don't know if you guys know when we register that we're international, but if we do, it would be nice to have a little more outreach to say, hey, here are some opportunities, like, hey, maybe here's some community groups that you may want to check out. Here are some activities in the public area, a calendar of events. Like, it's tough to learn sort of new things. Like, we hear about King's Day, but I'm sure there are other smaller sort of events that happen with different local charities or local events. It would be just very nice to know those things, to be able to meet people and interact with them.
Yeah, it's good to hear. We started last year with the public service also for internationals in the municipality of Amstelveen.
Yeah.
Beside that, we have most basic information also in the English language. The second step we did. Third is that we have a couple of neighborhoods already started with the international language, or with the English language for the neighborhood newsletter, if I may say so. Mm-hmm. So these are all small steps to try to combine the different cultures. So thank for your advice.
So Curtiz, when you moved over here, you mentioned, of course, some of the hurdles that you faced, such as the blue envelopes. Mm-hmm. Do you want to get into that? What else did you face, for example?
Well, getting registered at the huisarts and communicating with them our needs, because we have a child who has a chronic condition, so that we can communicate to them what we know about her condition. You know, there's the old adage of, the Dutch medicine just always being about paracetamol. Yeah. So trying to understand how that works differently. Medicine's done a little differently here. And then the other one is just feeling like we're part of the community, being able to walk outside and see neighbors and say hello and have a conversation and enjoy that part of life. I think is really important. It's part of the reason we love the Friday market in the Stadshart, and we try to speak Dutch with many of the vendors there who know us, and they've learned that we want to hear Dutch, so they respond as well in Dutch. Occasionally they see our frustration and switch to English and help us out, but it's really nice to feel like we're part of the community.
That's a very good example. We have in the Netherlands that people who live here expect from newcomers that they say hello to them. But we have also a lot of more introvert cultures worldwide who coming in Amstelveen and expect the people who live here already to say hello to them. And if you don't communicate with each other, then there will be no connection. And that's one of the important things. Just to address these kind of issues, we can help people to bridge the gap.
Yeah. So indeed, integration and communication and bringing together, it's a two-way road, right? We cannot expect just one party to make all the effort. We hear about all the, let's say, efforts that are being made for the international community to make them feel more settled and feel more home. There's still a lot of work to be done. Like you're saying that there's, the language barrier, for example. Curtiz, I think you're a prime example of someone who tries to get over the language barrier. I'm very curious, Mayor, from the point of the municipality, what is it that you're doing to the local Dutch community to encourage them to make that first step?
A couple of issues. We realized last couple of years that it's important to do also some from the municipality. Website, English language for most basic information. Second part, we have the Taalhuis, where we offer different kinds of Dutch language, Dutch courses for different groups. That's the second thing. We also try to stimulate and motivate all kinds of associations, clubs, to address their communication to the members, also in different languages than Dutch alone. But at the same time, we try also to encourage the newcomers to be member of those clubs and associations, or to join the board of those associations, or to start with volunteering activities. I think it's a two-way thing we have to do.
Yeah. I'm still, however, in your story, I'm still only hearing how local, or like, let's say, expats have to learn the language, get involved. But I'm saying, how do we encourage our local neighbor to reach out to a new neighbor who's just moved into the area?
I see just a matter of saying hello to each other. If you have different cultures, try to have a chat with each other, to share food with each other, depending on the cultures. In the neighborhood, I live in Amstelveen, in Bovenkerk. I think we do have 20-25% maybe internationals already. Yeah, we have twice a year a buurt barbecue, as we call it. Yeah. And of course, we also invite the internationals. And most of the time they come. And in advance we say everybody has to prepare some food and bring it in. And from that moment, it's a cooperation of everybody. Yep. And you see already that was the first step. Just an example in my own neighborhood.
And from the municipality, are you also trying to communicate that to, let's say, old-timer Amstelveens that have been living here for a long time, trying to encourage them to be more open and welcoming?
We have the program Amstelveen Connected, and in that program, it's exactly what we do. Try to learn different cultures, try to spread information about issues. But yes, it should be both ways, also from the 79% of the Amstelveeners with a Dutch nationality. It's easy said, but not always easy done.
Right. And I believe like last week there was a local council meeting in regards to internationalization and the international policy. There was a recollaboration and, re-looking at that. What exactly did you discuss in this?
Yeah, we had a discussion with our city council for the ingredients for a modernized international policy. Internationalization is part of this region, Amsterdam region, Amstelveen as well. And it has a couple of consequences for our services as a municipality. That's what we talked about. But it also has some consequences for the culture in the neighborhoods.
Right.
Some people don't feel at home anymore, although they live there already for 50 years. They don't know the neighbors, the topic we addressed a couple of minutes ago. How you can help them, how you can have attention for that, and how we can also give some advices to all kinds of organizations to help those 79% Amstelveeners with a Dutch nationality. And the other side, the third part, what's the benefit of all the internationalization? We do have it as well, and also what we can do to feel them at home in Amstelveen.
Right.
Those three topics were part of the conversations with the city council. We will prepare now a policy document for the coming months. And Curtiz, maybe you want to advise as well, like some other people,
Absolutely.
with the content for that new policy.
Well,
I'd love to help.
That was the next question I was going to ask. I mean, the mayor already asked you what else could you. But if you were part of this conversation, Curtiz, what is the first thing that comes to your mind that you think can contribute to it?
Well, the first thing is obviously I have some time and talent that I bring with me as an immigrant. I have a technical ability. That's what I do. I work with computers. I have an interest in the culture and an interest to learn. I think I'm a fairly friendly person. So, I think I can just bring myself and my time and contribute to those efforts and bring my own culture to it as well. I might be one of the smaller ones being from the United States, but that's okay.
Great. So there's, of course, room for improvement, and we've made a really good start here in Amstelveen, I think. Effort definitely needs to be made on both sides because, as we mentioned, integration, communication, this is all a two-way road. A good example, however, of this is the local fishmonger here in Amstelveen who stands at the Friday market, Richard Wasdorp. He specially learned Japanese just so that he could better service his Japanese clients. Let's take a look.
はい、どうぞ。おはようございます。刺身今日はサーモン刺身、マグロ新しいウェブだ、ハマチ新しい、ハマチ美味しい。ハリバ刺身で。
This is Richard Wasdorp. His family has been on the market in Amstelveen for 45 years. After the takeover in 2015 by fish specialist Koelewijn, Richard moved along and he stayed at the Amstelveen market.
ハリバあります。ハリバ美味しい。300グラム10ユーロ。新しい。
Richard is not to be missed at the weekly market. With his clear voice and his enormous enthusiasm, he knows how to attract everyone to his booth. But the fact that he attracts a lot of attention has also another reason. Richard speaks Japanese.
Asari, takoyaki. Iranai. Oshimai. 17 cents kudasai. Pin card? Yeah.
He has mastered the language especially for the large number of Asian customers. He even went to Japan for it. Not only to learn to speak the language better, but also to experience for himself how things are going on the fish market in Japan.
Hamachi, skoshi, 200 gram? Ja, 200 gram. Even kijken, Heilbot. Yes.
This way he knows what his customers want and they are also addressed in their own language. Something that the Japanese community in Amstelveen really appreciates. Also because the fish offer always has something special for the Japanese community.
Hi. Hey. Okay. Arigato. Mata ne. Bye-bye.
Would you like to see Richard in action yourself? He'll be on Stadsplein, so that's the town square, every Friday at the market, so you can have that experience yourself. So wonderful. Have you ever visited him, Mayor?
I visited him, and always there's a long line with his fish market.
Curtiz, have you gone to see the fish?
I have bought fish from him.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. I mean, what I'm hearing from both of you, again, and I've already said that before, Amstelveen, it's an international city. We're doing a lot to bring cultures together. We're doing a lot to promote different cultures. We're trying to ensure, and Curtiz, and I hear you, and I'm sure the mayor did as well, is that we should not segregate the international community and the Dutch community. We need to bring them closer together. You know, internationals do want to learn more about the Dutch community and the Dutch culture and the festivities around it. I mean, Mayor, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's important. I think it has to be both ways. We touched that topic earlier, and I think also for the people who are staying already for a longer time here in Amstelveen, at the 79 Amstelveeners with a Dutch nationality, please try also to see your neighbor when he's from abroad. Try to start a conversation, show them, invite them. Half of their group will stay here 5 years or longer in Amstelveen. And of course it's two ways, but it's also important that the Dutch Amstelveen, and in a lot of neighborhoods they do so already.
Yep.
But we have to continue with that, and because there are a lot of changing times, and I think it's good to bridge the gap, what we said earlier.
Yep. Curtiz, I think you are somewhat of a model expat that's come over here, taking that effort. What are some of the tips and tricks that you can give to newcomers that are coming to Amstelveen or to the Netherlands?
I think the first one is just not to be afraid. People are friendly and they want to get to know you. Taking the time to learn simple pleasantries, just to be courteous. Being involved with Scouts all my life, one of the things we hold true is that Scouts are courteous. And when we are pleasant to one another, it makes things a little easier. So just learning how to say please and thank you and hello and welcome. And those sorts of things go a long way. Even if you can't speak a whole lot of the language, it shows some effort in trying to show some care about where you are coming to. And for the most part, I found the Dutch to be very warm and wonderful people.
Yeah, and then maybe when I may add, the Dutch are of course also very direct, so they have no problems with just addressing them, say hello to them, and start a conversation. It's exactly what you said.
Mayor, do you have any closing statement or advice, or something that you want to take away?
Yes, of course. We have October 22nd. We have a Diwali festival, and people who have never been there, I really can advise you to go there. 22nd of October, Diwali festival, beautiful on Stadshart in Amstelveen.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll see the mayor as well over there. I think it's, again, just like the Japan Festival, it's a good time to bring people together, learn a different culture. So I also look forward to it. I hope the both of you will also be there. Again, I think Amstelveen is in a great shape when it comes to internationalization, communication, bringing people together. We can always do better. And I look forward to having those discussions and keeping them as open as possible. And I thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for attending and being and watching the first episode of Amstelveen for Everybody. We'll be back at the beginning of November, and we'll be talking about connection and making connections with one another and bringing people together. How can we do that better than actually talking about the most popular sport that we have in the Netherlands, and that is football. The World Cup is going to be taking place, so we're going to go and see how everyone's going to be celebrating and watching the World Cup. For now, thank you so much for watching. Until next month.